Oh, Steve and Larson! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for yourselves and feel the power. Yes. And all you people out there, you're watching Going In Raw with Steve and Larson.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. A really fun Smackdown tonight featuring a bevy of surprises. Number one, the return of Zelina Vega. Thea Trinidad has been gone for since November. I was just going to say a long time, but yeah.
7.5 months. I think it was towards the middle of November.
Yeah. Quite a long time ago. And she has returned to be placed into Money in the Bank.
Correct.
So that was pretty cool. I'll be honest with you. I felt like the method it was done was a bit underwhelming. I sort of wonder if they didn't want to give her too big of a return because the precedent that it sets might be the wrong. This is me completely speculating. But she comes back before they got fans back when they could have waited 2 weeks at Money in the Bank as a surprise entrant. That's a very dramatic way of doing things, right? They had her lose to Liv Morgan like within minutes of her return. Mm-hmm. All in all, it was a little bit on the underwhelming side. I don't put it past WWE to do things that are underwhelming, thinking that they are perfectly whelming, perfectly dramatic. Sometimes WWE thinks that, I just put her out there, it'd be fine. But I was kind of underwhelmed with the entire affair, but maybe they just think, hey, we're not trying to make this out to be a big deal. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, the only part that like, I understand. So when Liv came out, I'm like, oh, bummer. Zelina's going to lose tonight. You knew it was happening because that's the story. That's Liv's story. She's trying to wrestle her way into the Money in the Bank match. And Sonya Deville is seemingly not at all swayed by Liv beating probably everybody else that's going to be at the match until she kind of has to be. Or, at that point, Liv is undeniable. So I think that was more the aspect where, yeah, could they have brought Zelina back in the situation with a bit more impact? Absolutely. The way SmackDown has to approach their four competitors and the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match is different than Raw because they don't have the depth that Raw has in the women's division. Even bringing Zelina back, I think that brings them really to 8 members of the women's division on SmackDown, but you take out
the two contenders
Tamina and Natty.
Yeah.
You got to take out Bianca and Bayley.
Yeah, right.
So the numbers just aren't there.
Yeah.
So I get it. Unfortunately, that it lacks the drama of qualifying matches, which we enjoy. It's the logistics of it. I get it. But it's more like she shows up. I assume they want to make it kind of a deal, and then she gets rolled up. That's more the thing. I understand it's Liv's story. She's going to beat everybody else that's going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I get it. But it's just kind of still all the same. I think if she had showed up and had a match won or something like that, it wouldn't have been quite as underwhelming as what it was.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not saying it would have reached whelming, but it wouldn't have been quite as underwhelming.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I think that, to the casual fan, I guess, it's not that big of a deal anyways. My thing is always this. How anybody can watch the debut of Chris Jericho in the WWF back in 99 and then not at least aim for that whenever you debut somebody, in terms of just not, do the same thing, but like, oh man, it should be a special event when somebody shows up for the first time and, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
White Brownie just here in chat dropped, did you guys see on WWE's Instagram, Corbin had to sell his watch to Dolph for some quick cash. I love this Corbin stuff.
It's great.
I love it.
Here's a way they could approach the Liv Zelina segment. So Sonya Deville, she comes out before commercial. She's going to announce the next name before she gets a chance. Liv Morgan interrupts. Should be me. Is it me you're going to announce? It should be me. If it's not, like, what's the deal? And then Zelina interrupts. At least so that she's interrupting somebody. She's like...
Yeah, no, I agree. The interruption... the interruption debut is great. Or return is great, yeah.
Yeah. And then Sonya says, no, Zelina, this is who is going to be the next competitor. Or she's going to be the next competitor in the Money in the Bank match. Beans
from the East here in chat says, y'all act like Zelina was such a major player before she left. Maybe not. But you're promoting a show. You should be trying to make every return, every debut seem like a big deal. So it's not like they should be promoting it like it's, it's not like she is Triple H coming back from a year off of, whatever, from injury that time. I'm not saying she's that. You should absolutely be approaching everybody with some amount of, hey, let's make this into a big deal.
Absolutely.
But I do wonder if, to my earlier point, I wonder if some of it is simply, hey, you left us and now you're back, but we really don't like how you left us, so we're kind of not going to make it to be that big of a deal. They could be weird like that sometimes.
They can, but if that's their attitude, then why bring her back at all?
I don't know. Who knows?
I would just think if there was any sort of lingering beef there, then she wouldn't have been brought back. Period.
Yeah, but it's WWE. They just do weird.
No,
stuff.
I know. But at the same time, yeah.
Well, they fired her, but come on, it was the whole thing. It was I want to keep on doing my Twitch thing, and they were like, no.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, the match of the year candidate.
Yeah, it was really good.
Last man standing, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Holy crap. I mean, the thing that just sort of makes me laugh, I really do hope that they do something where Sonya Deville actually reveals to like Liv Morgan, say, hey, you're kind of a dick backstage or something like that. Like, I just don't like you. Your face bugs me, and that's why I'm putting you through this. And I totally get your point about there's not the depth of roster to do qualifiers. They should kind of try to do something, though, right? Because you have this, the juxtaposition is hilarious. You've got this last man standing match, which serves as a qualifier for Money in the Bank. It's brutal. They go through tables, 3 Aluva kicks, exploders on the apron. This was, and even a callback to NXT when Sammy won the title and he got apron powerbomb for the finish. Yeah. It was magnificent and just brutal as all get out.
It felt like it brought their entire story full circle.
And then right afterwards, Sonya Deville's going to come on out and just put somebody in the Money in the Bank match. I don't know. It's like, okay, if you're just going to toss people in a match, at least give us some amount of explanation, I guess. I don't know. Or at least Sonya Deville.
Do you want her to say, fortunately, we don't have enough women on the roster to do qualifying matches, so I'm going to do a lottery?
Sure.
Get the tumbler out?
Yeah. Something. Honestly, like I do think that there should be some sort of rhyme or reason to it, but that they don't. So whatever. I want some tell on Sonya's part as to why she has a problem with Liv. It's like she's always been very, very. Every once in a while they'll drop little hints that she's manipulative, but then all of a sudden her and Pierce are on the same page. So I don't know. I want some sort of tell. I don't know.
We never really got a reason why she was playing favorites with Charlotte though either.
We never did. I would have liked some way that played out. It feels like they're unsure backstage with the writing. I'd love it to be, well, those are the hints that they're dropping, and she's really good at poker. I don't have faith that that's WWE though. I just don't.
Yeah, but, they don't usually earn the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm. But no, that match was absolutely killer.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
And then the main event segment and the opening segment all had to do with Edge and his beef with Roman Reigns and his beef with Daniel Bryan for getting in that match and not making excuses. We got some interesting sort of circular moments here where he brings up Roman at the head of the show. And they show the picture of him with like the chair brace in his mouth, and he does the same thing to Jimmy at the end. And I'm thinking to myself, if you take out the Daniel Bryan thing, if this Edge was the Edge we had in the build to WrestleMania, how cool would that have been? Like they wouldn't need Daniel Bryan in that match. He wouldn't have had to get stacked by the Tribal Chief. But I like this stuff. I think it's really effective.
Yeah, no, I know, but I guess they couldn't find. I mean, you'd think it'd be pretty easy to find, but they didn't find that fire.
Yeah,
with which to motivate Edge in his story with Roman. Because there was never, it wasn't like it was a personal beef really ever between Edge and Roman. Roman was just standing in Edge's way of doing what he wanted to do.
Yeah. It's fun. I feel like they really shot themselves in the foot when Edge was going from town to town, if you will. I know it's just the same place, basically, for Raw and SmackDown anyways. And, he goes and he's got a lot of fire with Drew. He's got a little bit of fire with Finn and Pete Dunne, I guess. And then he heads to SmackDown, and it's just all gone. If Roman Reigns had just completely annihilated him that first night and said, trust me, you don't want any piece of this, and like concertoed him and all that kind of stuff, like really took him off guard. And then that Edge returns like 2 weeks later, and it's kind of picks up where we see it now, though, like that Edge.
The problem is they probably hadn't made up their mind who Edge was actually going to challenge.
Yep, you're probably right. Yep.
Let's take a quick break from the show here to get a word in from today's sponsor, Sheath. So, Steve, I know that you are a boxer brief guy, right?
Hold on, let me see if that's still the case. Yeah, because I like to keep my business down under secure, but I also need some room to let my dude parts breathe, Larson.
All right, well, let me tell you about these Sheath boxer briefs I got on. I actually have a pair right here, too.
Okay.
See here, they're designed to keep your man bits off your legs. Sheath has 3 individual compartments. See what I'm doing here?
Yeah, I see that.
You keep everything down here separate and cool and comfortable. Think of it this way, Steve. Sheath has an inverted kangaroo pouch. I'm holding it with my hand right here.
I can see that.
It's for your Joey,
and
it's to keep you from sticking to your thigh.
Yeah, I definitely don't like when things get sticky down there, unless I really want them to get sticky down there. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. So. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Sheath's got a modern ergonomic design that's intended to prevent skin-on-skin contact for extended periods of time, which can cause heat and sweat. Ugh. And when you put heat and sweat together, Steve, what do you get?
You get smelly funk, Larson. You get junk funk. It's funk that originates from your junk, and nobody likes that, and nobody will like you if you have junk funk.
Well, but here's the thing: Sheath prevents all of that because it keeps everything separate.
Oh yeah,
that means no smelly undercarriage, and that means you'll chafe and readjust way less.
So nice. So if you want to keep your front area cool and comfortable, go to sheathunderwear.com/raw for 20% off your order today. That's SHEATH underwear.com/raw. Make sure to use promo code RAW at checkout.
Trust us, you'll be doing your junk a favor by going to sheathunderwear.com/raw for 20% off. Again, that's sheathunderwear.com/raw for 20% off.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this because we've already got into a lot of it. Edge starts the show, says WrestleMania was supposed to be the culmination of a dream, winning the Universal title 10 years to the day I had to vacate the World Championship, and then it didn't happen. That wasn't in my vision what did happen. It rocked me, but I started to roll the match back in my brain. I watched it, and I never watch my matches. He says, Roman glosses over certain details. He tends to embellish a bit. He says, my one fear was Daniel Bryan preventing me from winning. And I could complain about that. I could complain about Jay, and I'd be justified to do that. 2006, Edge would have. But in 2021, I have to understand there are going to be excuses and obstacles. And I've spent my career knocking down obstacles. Now that I've been in here with Roman one-on-one, I know I could beat him. And even Roman knows this. He'll never admit it, but you know I can. And then he throws to a shot from WrestleMania when he's got Roman in that submission with the brace of the chair in his mouth. Mm-hmm. And he says, can you guys zoom into his eyes? And he says, those are the eyes of fear. And then he says, now tilt up to mine. And you see Edge's eyes. And they all have crazy eyes. And he says, those are the eyes of the man that lives in Roman's head. He says, and you live, and I'm going to live there for life. He says, last week when you heard my music, Roman, the look on your face solidified what I know. I'm the guy that has your number. I'm going to beat you. It's a matter of when. I am inevitable. It's a matter of when. That was good stuff. And then it cuts to Paul Heyman watching TV. Jimmy comes up, says, I got Roman's back just like he has mine. He says, tonight when Roman gets here, we're going to call out Edge. We're going to take him out and plant a flag in his butt.
Heart. He said heart.
Oh, heart.
Middle of his heart.
In his fart.
In his fart, yes. So next, King Nakamura and Big E teaming up to take on Apollo Crews and Sad Baron Corbin in a tag team bout before the match began. Baron Corbin is like a YouTube interview, I think, from last week. And he's asked, you said something about you lost a bunch of money in investments. He goes, yeah, I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I was a wealthy man, but now... just hangs his head in shame.
His hair is all growing out.
Yeah. So he comes out this week, and he hasn't shaved his face. He's let his hair grow out. It's very reminiscent of Neville after he lost the Cruiserweight title, where he just let himself go. It's like he had slept.
Yeah. Throughout his entire career, the one thing you can never say about Corbin, he never phones it in. Like, that dude he's never been given anything all that great. Like, the GM stuff was okay. It's just they with all authority figure stuff, they just overdo it.
They overdo it, make it the focus of the show when it shouldn't be.
But if you remember, his promos used to be not great, and through repetition and seemingly practice, his promos got pretty good. Yeah, and now he's like a really well-rounded performer.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And so as he's making his way out to the ring, Greg Hamilton almost introduces, because he has his old music, the King Corbin music still. And Greg Hamilton's about to announce him as king, and the music stops, and he corrects himself.
Mm-hmm.
Baron Corbin.
I didn't notice, as Maggie just mentioned this, I didn't notice that part. I think I was out of the room for that bit, for his entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Did they start playing his actual music again without the King stuff?
No.
I really hope they do that, because I love
they
his
should next
theme
week.
song.
I know
His theme song is terrific. Yeah.
So early on, Apollo Crews is taking it to Nakamura. Crews turns to Corbin, tells him to focus, and when he turns around, he gets kicked by Nakamura. Later on, Apollo Crews is getting worked over by Big E. He hits Big E in the throat, tags in Corbin, and Big E just runs right over and knocks Corbin off the apron. Big E goes down the floor, and Corbin just explodes, clothesline, throws him to the timekeeper area. We go to commercial, we come back, and I missed what led to the end because I was going to get my huge bowl of pho for dinner. So fill me a little bit. I saw his SUV getting repoed, but
that's all it was. It was just So Boogs mid-match makes an announcement. Corbin's got the upper hand in this match, and Boogs makes an announcement. He says, "Will someone's car?" It's like a white, whatever it is, SUV or whatever, with license plate KINGCRBN. And McAfee says, "Wait, who's King Crabbin? Why would you name yourself King? Who is that? Whose car would that be?" And then they show the car on the Tron getting towed, and that just distracts Baron, so that Big E hits the big ending, and gets the win there. And they got a great close up on Corbin, and he's just, and Pat McAfee's like, "Oh my God, he's getting repoed."
Yeah.
Oh man, it's pretty great.
It was pretty funny. After that, we got a Bayley Bianca face to face. Bayley's out first. She says, "I'm usually not the type of person to brag and say I told you so, but I told you so." Proved last week that Bianca's win at Hell in a Cell was a fluke, but the best part was the loss, defeated look in her eyes. She was there questioning everything she did wrong. She may be physically strong, but she's mentally weak. Bayley says, "I made being champ look easy, but Bianca is crumbling at the weight of our expectations. She better get her head in the game. They're getting in front of fans in 2 weeks, and it would make her sad to see Bianca fall apart in front of all the boys and girls who worship her." Says Bianca ain't nothing compared to Bayley. And as she's continuing that thought, Bianca interrupts.
And she says, "What you need is a crack in that mouth, because you might want this, but I have it. But I keep beating you over and over and over, and you keep on coming at me. It's like you're obsessed with me." And Bayley's like, "Obsessed with you?" She says, "I'm in your head." And Bianca's like, "Yeah, you know what? You kind of are in my head because you just never stop. She says, you know, there's only one way to end this, and that's for me to embarrass you to the point of no return. She says, so you can't get in my head because I'm so over you. She said, if the officials will allow it, and Money in the Bank, I'll put my title on the line in an I Quit match. And Bayley sort of steps back and is like, oh, good one. She's like, dang, I really did get in your head, didn't I? She says, you know me well enough to know I've never quit at anything in my life. I'm here and I've accomplished everything, which is more than you ever will. So if you can make me say I quit, I'd probably quit SmackDown. Hey, I'd probably quit wrestling altogether. But hearing you say I quit, I wouldn't be surprised. She says, you and I know you're not the champion you portray yourself to be, and I accept. And then Bianca starts laughing at her. She's like, why are you laughing? She says, you know, I thought I was so sick of hearing you run your mouth, but I just realized how excited I am when I hear you say those words, I quit. And she laughs, and Bayley looks pretty dejected. Their match at Hell in a Cell was
good.
Best
really
match
good.
on the card.
Yeah, I think so. Pretty good.
Their match at Backlash, if I recall, was pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And
should be good too. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm cool with this. I like this. I like this a lot, to be honest with you. And then they'll split ways.
Yeah.
I thought for sure. Mr. Sinister in the chat mentions this. This is Bayley to Raw confirmed. I thought it was going to go further. I thought it was going to like confirm that Bayley's going to be. It's going to be like a loser leaves town.
Loser leaves town thing. Yeah, I thought that too. I definitely thought that as well. Next, we got Heyman. He's pasted in Roman's locker room. Jimmy enters. And Jimmy, he wants to know if Roman's there. He says, Edge is out there. He's ready to jump us. What is Roman waiting for? And Heyman says, he's waiting for you to step up. Oh, no, he says, is he waiting for me to step up? He's going to tell Pierce and Sonya to save space at the end of the show. I'm going to challenge Edge and beat the hell out of him all over the place.
And then we had Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Last man standing. Dude, this match was just, you have to see it to believe it. They start out hot. Very quickly they go to the outside, beating the crap out of each other, make their way. I love that these guys, they know the Thunderdome's almost done, so let's just play around with Thunderdome. So Kevin Owens starts ramming Sammy's head into all the fans' faces on their screens, saying, here, meet Karen, meet Robert,
all names.
Meet Steve. Say hi to Steve. And McAfee says, who's Steve? That popped me, obviously.
Of course, Steve.
So Sammy at one point, when they sort of go through that, Sammy gets the upper hand, sends Kevin Owens into the announce table. Table doesn't break. By the time they go to commercial, by the time the commercial's over, Owens has the upper hand. He's slapping Zayn around quite a bit. Owens starts getting two tables out. Stacks them. Yeah, stacks them. I think McAfee did a Stone Cold impression at that point. He's like, stack the tables. He tries to suplex Sammy into them from the top. Zayn's able to counter. Owens ends up on the outside over on the other side of the ring. He gets planched by Sami Zayn. He goes flipping out of the ring. Back in, Zayn gives Owens some ground and pound. Owens grabs him by his nose. Zayn counters out with an exploder into the corner. Zayn tries to take him up top, but Owens counters with a brainbuster from the top. They go back up, and Sammy, they're sort of where the tables are, and Owens is trying to do something, and Sammy just ends up shoving him, so he goes through the tables.
It seemed like Kevin Owens was maybe going for a power bomb or something off the top.
Okay, yeah. It just, the shove was so I was like, whoa, what the hell happened there?
Yeah.
Owens barely makes the 10 count, but he gets back in. Go back to commercial.
Go to commercial, come back, yeah. And then Zayn at that point is working over Kevin Owens' shoulder. It's all taped up. During the commercial break, he set up another table. He's looking for a suplex or something on the ring steps. Owens blocks that, rams Sammy's face into the ring post, throws in the barricade. Sammy responds by going back to the shoulder to make the way to the apron. Owens goes for a stunner. Sammy blocks it, hits a half-and-half suplex up there. Owens again beats the 10 count, and then Sammy hits a haluva kick. Again, Owens beats the 10 count. Sammy hits another, and a call back to their Battleground match during the first go-around feud in WWE, not in NXT, but on main roster. Kind of holds them up and says, hey, this is karma for everything you've ever done. Hits him another haluva kick, and at like 8.5, Owens rolls out of the ring and right onto his feet.
Yeah.
So Sammy goes for that diving DDT through the ropes. He instead jumps right into a super kick. Owens in the ring hits a pop-up power bomb. Sammy beats the count after that. Owens hits a stunner. Sammy rolls out to the floor. Owens follows, and he's picking Sammy up. And Sammy says, "How did we get here?" And Kevin says, "It's karma." Then he power bombs him through the announce table.
Oh my God!
Through the table that Sammy had set up ringside earlier. And yes, in the callback to when Owens first betrayed Sami Zayn in NXT, an apron bomb. Sammy's not getting up from that. Kevin Owens wins.
This is free TV. These guys are putting on a Big Four main event level match. All the talking. This is karma. How did we get here? It's karma. Oh my God. I got chills when that happened.
Because it feels like this is like the blow off for their story in WWE. That's what it felt like.
Here's the thing. It ain't. It's probably not next week. Probably not next month. Maybe it'll wait a couple of years. They'll probably be split up at the draft.
Yeah, I would suspect. Yeah.
But oh my God, this was just magnificent. God damn it.
Pro wrestling storytelling at its finest.
These guys don't care if it's 10 people in the crowd, if it's no people in the crowd, if they're in a backyard. They will tell.
There's 100,000 people there.
Or 100,000 people.
Or they won't tell.
They will tell the story that they wanted to. They decided, hey, it's a Money in the Bank qualifier. Let's make this our WrestleMania main event. Let's act like this is for the Universal title.
I wonder if the thing too is they didn't, they had a match at Hell in a Cell, but didn't get to do it in Hell in a Cell. Maybe they thought, all right, well, we're getting a stipulation match. Let's go crazy.
I don't know. I mean, this went through 2 commercial breaks. This is probably longer than either their Hell in a Cell or their WrestleMania match.
Maybe.
Because those are pretty quick matches. And I wonder if they're like, hey, this is what we have. We've got this 30-minute block. This will be the thing, because maybe they probably knew that this is going to be the end for a while, But God damn it, this was pro wrestling, man. Oh,
yeah, it was
this
good.
was so
good. It was
good.
really good. It was really good. We got an Edge interview. He says, I know I walk into a trap out there. He says, even though Jimmy's back there, he's putting on a good show. Jimmy has to know that Edge knows what's coming. He says, I know what's coming, but I don't care. If they want to set the trap, that's fine, because they'll be facing an angry SOB.
After that, Boogs, we mentioned this earlier, catches up with Corbin backstage. Says, hey, man, you should join us. We're going to go get, what did he say? We're going to
go get some dinner, and we're going to get chicken a la King.
Yeah, that's right. So he cracks a bunch of other King jokes.
Bad.
They're pretty lame, and he's kind of a dick. And then Corbin says, I thought Corbin was going to throttle him, but he's defeated. He says, you think this is funny? Kicking a guy when he's down? I'm going to tell you what I'll tell anybody else. Screw you, man.
Yeah.
It'd been great if he said, fuck you, and they bleep it.
Yeah, no.
and then he just sulks off.
He just leaves. Sad Corbin.
Yeah.
We talked about this at the head of the show. Then Zelina Deville comes out, announces that Zelina Vega. Did I say Selena Deville? Sonya Deville. Zelina Vega. Man, my dinner just made me sleepy. That was so much food. It was so good.
Taping.
I'm sleepy over here. Yeah, Sonya Deville announces that Zelina Vega will be in Money in the Bank. So Zelina walks out to the ring, says it's Sonya's honor to announce her return, just like it'll be Zelina's pleasure to grab that Money in the Bank briefcase. Talks about how she's going to eventually cash in, and then she'll be either Raw, SmackDown, or NXT Women's Champion. Then Liv Morgan interrupts, asks what is going on. It's bad enough that Bella got in without having to qualify. Now Vega just gets an opportunity. She doesn't deserve to be in the match. She hasn't competed on SmackDown all year. How is that fair? And Zelina says it's fair because I've been wrestling for a bunch of years. I'm one of the most popular women superstars. I think she said ever.
She did say ever, yeah. In history,
and
she said,
yeah. And she's going to show what kind of amateur Liv is. And so Liv slaps her, tells her to prove it in a match right now. And Sonya just kind of shrugs and says, okay.
Okay, sure. It's like, not going to help your case at all. Liv Morgan, it was a pretty quick match. Liv Morgan
It was a really
winning.
quick match.
She went with her. I sort of turned away for a second. She went with the roll up with hands on the tight. Is that what happened?
So what happened is Zelina had the upper hand for a vast majority of the match. She goes for a roll up on Liv out of a roll up attempt from Liv, and she's got a handful of Liv's tights literally right in the ref's face.
Oh, okay.
And so the ref, I don't know how the ref didn't see it, but counts 1, 2, sees a handful of tights, breaks it up, and there's a little bit of arguing, and then Liv rolls up Vega, handful of tights.
Oh, okay.
You get the win.
After that, Pierce and Sonya Deville are in their office. Seth Rollins comes in, and he says, "Hello, how you doing? Seth Rollins, nice to meet you." And they're like, "Yeah, we know who you are, man." And he's like, "Oh, I'm glad you remember who I am, given that you gave Edge the match against Roman at Money in the Bank when you clearly said I was going to have it." And they're like, "No, dude, we said we're going to take it under consideration." And so they go back and forth a little bit. Pierce is like, "Well, obviously Edge deserves the opportunity." And Seth's like, "So do I." So they argue about it, and Sony's like, "You know what, Seth, fine. Next week, you have your chance to be in Money in the Bank, as long as you can beat Cesaro to qualify for Money in the Bank."
I did like the bit where Pierce says, Edge won the Rumble, never got his one-on-one match. Mm-hmm. And Seth goes, "That's not my fault. You nincompoops put Daniel Bryan in the match."
I am so sad I missed that. All right, I didn't put that in the notes because, yeah, that was great.
That was really good.
You nincompoops. Who wins this match next week, man?
So there's two more qualifiers,
right?
There's two more qualifiers. There's this one, and then there's Nakamura versus Corbin.
Yeah, Nakamura's winning that one.
You'd think so.
Corbin's on a downward trajectory.
Yeah.
Seth can make an impact. Now, look, I think it should be Seth, and he should cash in.
I think it is going to be Seth, because if Seth wins, it'd be two. No, wait. If Seth loses and everybody from the SmackDown side is a face, Big E, Kevin Owens, Nakamura, Cesaro. That's probably not going to happen.
On the Raw side, we've got Morrison,
Ricochet,
Drew,
and Riddle.
Oh,
so 3 out of 4.
The guy who's actually going to win Money in the Bank, Riddle.
Seth's in there. I guess Seth's pretty good odds.
In there. I kind of feel like Cesaro is going to somehow win next week, and Seth's going to be driven mad. He'll probably cost Edge, like you've said. He's probably
1,000% costing Edge that match at Money in the Bank.
I think the idea is if Seth has to, if Seth has Money in the Bank, he can pick and choose his spot, and it doesn't have to be the night of Money in the Bank. That's why I kind of feel like Cesaro's probably going to end up winning.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Entirely possible.
Because he's still going to, like Cesaro, I think they still want to do things with Cesaro, obviously not main event stuff. But Cesaro's got it. I mean, Cesaro really deserves to be in Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And you don't need Seth to make an impact at the pay-per-view and be in Money in the Bank. He could do it regardless. He'll just show up and cost Edge that match.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Next, this wasn't much of a match. Otis versus Angelo Dawkins.
God.
Otis destroyed Dawkins in this match, just from bell to bell. The 90 seconds between the two bells just destroyed him.
Isn't it so weird that, like, a year ago, Otis was doing the goofy comedy stuff and shouldn't have been anywhere near Money in the Bank, and now, like, he's actually turned the corner where it's like, I don't know if I'd like his chances against Roman still, but if he won Money in the Bank and got shipped to Raw, I don't dislike his chances because he's a machine. If they keep on evolving him into this, like, sort of Vader-like character, and I don't just say that because he does a Vader bomb. He's terrifying.
Yeah,
they're booking him like to the moon right now.
Yeah, and he's working extra snug right now too.
He is, yeah,
which helps a lot.
Yeah, I love what they're doing. It's just surprising that it's like, man, he had Money in the Bank when he shouldn't have, and now he's not going to get close to it when he could be a contender for it.
Yeah, I'm hoping they've realized that even now, where they've actually kind of gotten something that could be legit in terms of the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, it's still best to wait. Like, this is still a new thing for him.
Oh, for Otis,
still,
yeah. No, you want to
growth.
milk this and that's what they should have been doing. Imagine if they had started this road a year ago and built him to this year's Money in the Bank. Yeah, because I think he's got everything. He just needs time. That's been his thing. He's just needed time.
Exactly.
But I love this stuff.
So Otis goes after Dawkins' bad shoulder, hits him with a second rope splash, Vader bomb, get the win. It was super quick. super quick.
It was very fast, yeah.
Very quick. Backstage, Jimmy's talking to Heyman. He wants to know where Roman is. Heyman tells him that Roman operates on his own time. Everything that Roman does, he does for his family. He says all that Jimmy needs to do is go out there and be main event Jimmy. And Jimmy's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I will. And then he walks, because they're in gorilla position, and then he walks out to the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Jimmy comes out, calls out Edge. It's just me and you now, Oos. No Roman here. To be real, I don't need Roman tonight because I can handle you all by myself. He says, this isn't a trap. It's just Oos calling you out. Let's do this. Edge comes out and says, don't you see, Jimmy? Don't you see he's using you like he's using your whole family? He beat the holy hell out of your brother till he acknowledged Roman. He says, you were there. And then once he's done with Jay, he starts using you. What happened to your backbone? What happened to not being anybody's bitch? Now you're just one of Roman's bitches. And here's what you don't realize. Roman laid a perfect trap, but this isn't a trap for me. It's a trap for you. And then Edge comes down, and Jimmy starts like looking around desperately, like hoping Roman's going to show up. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't. So Edge attacks him, throws him into the post, does it again. Jimmy's able to get a desperation super kick on Edge, gets the upper hand, but Edge turns around with a big boot, some ground and pound, puts him in a submission. Jimmy starts tapping. Edge spears Jimmy. Edge goes out of the ring, finds a chair, and then he stomps the brace out of it, goes back in, puts Jimmy in that same submission he had put Roman in, put the brace in his mouth, and you know, while Jimmy's just, they got a great camera shot of it, and Edge is just screaming at the camera, look, Roman, look what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Holy crap, that was good stuff. I really liked that. It was good. That was the kind of
And then at one point during the brawl, Jimmy had the upper hand again, and again, he was looking around for Roman. Nowhere to be found.
Yep. So anyways, that was good stuff. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. As a quick reminder, you can ask questions here on the show. If you can't catch the show live, we have a thread up on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. It's actually available for all patrons, $1 and up. You can ask a question for the show. Mm-hmm. And we got a bunch of other stuff there if you want to check it out. Help support Going In Raw. Chris Herndon says, he has a question about Raw. We'll go ahead and throw that one out anyways. He says, I know this is a SmackDown thread. Could they just end this Lily Alexa Bliss thing by having the Fiend show up, show the heel glove and nail her with a Sister Abigail and keep doing it where they eventually the evil Alexa's no more? No, I don't think they're going to have the Fiend go around Sister Abigailing Alexa Bliss.
No, Alexa's winning Money in the Bank probably.
Yeah, probably.
Dang MQ, I get the feeling that they will put Liv in the Money in the Bank match so that they can do the whole she's going to get knocked out backstage segment and she's replaced by Becky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alex Foster says, who should Boogs' first singles feud be with?
Probably Baron Corbin.
It should be. I think I'll be rooting for Corbin in that case.
Yeah, I will be too.
Let's see here. It's a weird question.
We got a first-time chatter here. MCW says, I see Liv having beat whoever Sonya puts in the Money in the Bank match next, then Liv gets in. Yeah, that's totally what it's going to be.
Yeah. Let's see here. Blake says, which male and female superstar should be on the cover of 2K22? He says his money is on Drew and Bianca. I'm going to say Bobby Lashley and Sasha Banks.
New Day. Me and agree with the sub. Thank you so much. Lou says, in kayfabe, why do wrestlers not watch their own matches? That's what Edge said. Like, I don't usually watch matches, but I watch the Mania main event.
In kayfabe,
I think in kayfabe they would, because that's, you watch the tape, see what you need to work on, see what your opponent did.
Okay, well, here's the answer. Because we know in kayfabe it's very uncomfortable to watch TV the way they do it. They don't like being uncomfortable for that period of time, so they don't watch their matches.
So the only way you can watch TV in WWE Universe is how they portray it.
In kayfabe, not a lot of people watch TV.
All right.
That's how they justify their low ratings. David Matushik. Do you think WWE should use more publicity photos for storyline purposes, just like tonight?
Oh, the Edge Roman bit where they go into WWE.com and use one of the stills from WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I think they should.
Totally, 1,000%.
And all the zooming around and stuff.
Lou asks, so how is the Thunderdome going to be destroyed next week? Short of explosions.
Not
without
short of explosions. It should be
With
explosions.
explosions.
100%. Yeah.
There we go. It's too bad Heavy Machinery is not a team anymore. They could bring some bulldozers in there. Bulldoze it.
Yeah, how about this? So the final episode, so is it Money in the Bank?
It's the Raw Go Home for Money in the Bank is the last Thunderdome show.
Okay. And then the
So a week from
SmackDown is
Monday.
the first. The SmackDown is
Live
the first
show.
with fans.
Yeah.
All right. How about this? This is how you open with fans. Roman they do like a cinematic that precedes it. Roman sends a note to Edge and says, "Hey Edge, I'll be at Thunderdome before SmackDown. Meet me there. Nobody's going to be there because we're live at the other place, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So then Edge is in Thunderdome, and he's like, "Where are you, Roman? Where are you?" He's got the chair brace with him, and then it cuts to outside, and Roman's got a TNT. Well, they wouldn't call it that. It'd say Acme on it. Trigger. What do they call those things?
Dynamite. Yeah.
Dynamite thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And press it down. And it's stock footage of some
It's
building.
stock footage. It's stock footage.
No, they can use the explosion, stock footage of the Kingdome in Seattle imploding.
There you go. Perfect. That's good.
That's
Yeah.
a dome.
Yeah. And then it shows out in the Gulf of Mexico how it's on fire right now.
Oh my gosh, what a nightmare!
What is
scenario
going
that
on in this planet?
Well, there's a lot.
I know. It's horrible.
It is horrible.
The
When I first saw that, I was like, "This has got to be from a movie."
It looked like I'm from a movie.
I know.
It looked like it from a badass movie, but no, it's a terrifying reality we're living in.
Yep,
People.
it is
Jay
a terrifying
Singh
reality.
says, in regards to yesterday's news brief on Rebel, not Reba, dislocated my knee last November. It's still acting up, but if I had done more physiotherapy and sooner, probably would have been healed in a few months. That's good to know. He's like, I just taped it up, though.
Put some icy hot off on it.
Yeah, I see. How
Thomas Jacob VG with the sub. Thank you so much.
I'm the new guy.
Then Yoshibal, is there any Money in the Bank participant that could actually get the belt off Roman? Is Seth's not in it? No.
Yeah, Roman? No, man. That dude's about to stack The Rock and Cena. Mr. Sinister. So with Baron going on a downward spiral after losing his crown, how far should he go on that downward spiral?
Far.
He's like caught like trying to dig up food in like a McDonald's dumpster.
Mm-hmm. Far.
Or like a Wawa dumpster.
There we go. Quoth the Raven, calling it Liv versus Zelina in Carmella match, and if Liv wins, she's in Money in the Bank, screwy finish, and Liv loses. No, Liv's going to be in it. She'll be in it.
She'll totally be in it. Natria says, "Oh, this was great. What do you think of Jimmy wearing a Yeet hoodie tonight?" That was pretty awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
East Nick, with all men qualified or in a match to qualify for Money in the Bank, power rank the 10 wrestlers to win the briefcase.
Power rank the 10 wrestlers to win the briefcase?
So there's what, 6 in, and there's 4 that have qualifying matches next week. So Riddle's in, Drew, Ricochet, Morrison, Big E, KO, and then you have Nakamura, Corbin, and then it's Seth and Cesaro.
Let's see here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Who am I missing? I got Nakamura, Corbin, Seth, Cesaro, Big E, Kevin Owens, Drew. Okay. It's this. Let's see here. Okay, so number 10, the least likely to get the title, to get Money in the Bank, is probably
It's Baron Corbin.
Corbin. Here's the only reason I hesitate on putting Corbin 10 as opposed to Morrison and Ricochet, who cancel each other out, and they'd be tied for like 9 and 8. It's because they don't have a story. They're like nothing. They're like vacants, basically. Corbin actually has a story. His story right now is super loser, so that's not going to happen. But they did reference the fact that he had won it before, and he was one of the few that didn't. So maybe it could be a redemption story, but no. So yeah, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say Morrison and Ricochet are 10 and 9, and they're sort of tied for 10. So at 8 is going to be Corbin for me.
Okay.
At what?
7,
10, 9, 8, 7. Thank you. 7 is going to be Kevin Owens.
Interesting.
Because he's super beat up already. And I know the draft is coming up, and him versus Lashley would be a fresh matchup. But I'm not going to assume he's going to leave SmackDown again. And he's already fought Roman a million trillion times. So Kevin Owens is my number 7.
All right, 6.
6 is going to be 6 is going to be Cesaro. Same reason. Actually, no, I'm sorry. 7 is Cesaro. Kevin Owens is 6. Big E is 5.
Wow.
Nakamura is a king. So he is 4. 3 is... did I say Nakamura already?
You did.
So I'm down to Drew, Riddle, and Seth.
Yes.
It's Seth, Drew, and Riddle. Riddle's number 1. Riddle's totally winning this thing, by the way.
We'll see. I got Baron 10. He's not just a losing wrestler right now. He's a loser.
He's a super loser, yeah. Dumpster diver, yeah.
9, I got Ricochet. I got Morrison slightly ahead of him because if he has a briefcase, they can do stuff with The Miz.
He's got The Miz, yeah.
So that's slightly ahead of Ricochet. 7, I got Nakamura. He's got the crown. That's his prize.
Good point.
6, got Cesaro.
Okay.
After that match, I imagine everybody loves Kevin Owens. I got Kevin Owens at 5. I mean, everybody backstage.
Sure.
If they're wondering if they're on the fence about anybody. 4, Drew.
Okay.
3, Seth. 2, I got Riddle. And 1.
Big E is your guy? Is that just a personal thing, or you think that's possible?
Partially. It's partially personal, but I mean...
It would be great. What could you imagine? Zelina set the precedent in terms of, hey, you can go anywhere with this thing. Because year by year, you don't know. Year to year, you don't know. If Big E at the end of Kofi versus Lashley cashed in, that roof would explode if Big E became the new champion. It would explode.
Yeah. It would. 1,000%.
It would explode.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Teal Jesus, I love how the Owens Zayn match references their NXT matches and their Battleground match. Those guys are great. Yep. Artists.
Oh, God, it's so good.
Absolute artists.
So good. Paul Lankick with Zelina Vega coming back. Is there a genuine chance we see the return of the Dark Father, Aleister Black? It's one thing we sort of talked about in the pre-show. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Fear and Loathing, should Baron just make hot dogs on a cheap charcoal grill for the 4th of July for his social media?
Yeah, he's got the $15 little shell grill,
Yeah. He's got the little thing you got to put the newspaper on the bottom to get your charcoal lit.
Let's see here.
White Brownie has a good question. With 2 more spots left for the SmackDown win side of Money in the Bank and Liv most likely getting 1 spot, who's getting the last spot? So your contenders are Mia Yim, Sasha Banks, Sonya Deville. Because Bianca and Bayley, they're in a thing. Carmella's in it. Liv will probably be in it. Natalya and Tamina, they're the women's tag champs. They seem busy on Raw doing something else.
You don't think Becky? Did you say Becky?
I did not. I'm just going with people that are actually on the roster, confirmed on the roster.
Okay.
Right now. But Becky is an option, yes. If on that Go Home Smackdown, Sonya Deville announces the final participant is Becky Lynch, but then Liv Morgan's going to have to wrestle Becky Lynch and win.
Well, that ain't going to happen, yeah.
Exactly.
I'd say it's Sasha. I mean, if Sasha cashes in on Bianca at the end of that I Quit match and then wins the title and then hugs Bayley and they're reunited. Because Becky's coming back to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a united front with Sasha and Bayley, I mean, that's a great nemesis for Becky Lynch for her to pick that title back up. And you can try to, you rope Bianca into it still and have her do her own. Or maybe Bianca goes to Raw. Who's the champion on Raw now? Oh, God.
Rhea Ripley.
Terrible scene over there. Hey, have Bianca go to Raw. Have Charlotte beat Rhea at Money in the Bank. And then Bianca ends up on Raw after SummerSlam. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, one more good question.
All right.
Oh, from you, I meant. I'm done on Patreon.
Yeah, I know. I'm reading. I'm reading.
Oh, sorry.
I'll have my Twitch chat over here. So
gotcha.
Let's see. Oh, good question. I'm just trying to do something. Who's going to have the best gear at Money in the Bank? Let's see. Of the 16 participants, either confirmed or yet to be confirmed, who do you think's going to have the best gear?
If Sasha's in it, it's going to be Sasha. Her Mania gear was awesome. It was so great.
You can't discount Carmella usually when she's in Money in the Bank.
That's great. Yeah. I feel like she set a really
Big E always has great gear.
He's always got wonderful gear. Yeah. Good. All right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. Hopefully you guys have a good, safe 4th of July. We'll be back on Monday. Take care of yourselves. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.